When some bikers bothered a woman who was camping alone, they didn't know she wasn't an ordinary woman. There are many beautiful places to camp in the United States. One of the best is in the western part of the country. It has mountains, trees, and lakes, and that's what makes people love camping there. But there's a problem. Bikers often go there and cause trouble for everyone else. This has become such a big issue that the police had to step in. A few years ago, more and more campers started to complain about the bikers' dangerous behavior. So the police decided to do something. But when they acted, they found out that one biker wasn't like the others. It was a normal weekend at Lake Isabella. The lake is known for its beauty and fishing. It's surrounded by mountains and trees, making it a great camping spot. People came from all over to enjoy it. So when the police got a report about bikers causing trouble, they didn't think it was a big deal. It wasn't the first time. They got a description of the bikers and their car, then sent an officer to check it out. The officer drove by the bikers quietly, so they wouldn't notice him. He wanted to see what was really going on before taking action. He didn't want to start a fight unless he had to. This officer had been in the SWAT team for years and had seen many dangerous situations. Even though he had dealt with some wild people before, this felt different. He watched the bikers closely and saw them looking at other people's tents. He had heard stories of bikers hurting campers, and it looked like that might happen here. He knew he had to act fast before anyone got hurt, but he needed a smart plan. There were too many bikers to confront alone. If he arrested the leader, the others might try to help him escape. If he arrested them all, he'd need backup, which would take time. There were families around too, and he didn't want them to get hurt. So the officer decided to stay back and call for help. He kept watching the bikers until more police officers arrived. Then they went up to the bikers and told them they were being arrested for harassment. The bikers said they were just having fun, but the officer didn't believe them. As the officers started putting them in handcuffs, the bikers got upset. They yelled and cursed, making a big scene. But the officers ignored them and kept doing their job. After all the bikers were in custody, the officers checked on the campers to make sure they were safe. Some campers were still scared, but they thanked the officers. News about the arrests spread fast. People started asking why the police finally acted. Some said it was because the bikers had become too much trouble. Others said it was about keeping everyone safe. Either way, most people were glad the police did something to protect campers. As the campers packed up and left, the officer stayed behind to help clean up. He knew not everyone appreciated what the police had done, but he still felt it was the right thing. What he didn't know was that one of the women he had helped wasn't just any camper. After the incident, life in the small town went back to normal. Campers went back to their tents, and police officers returned to patrol. But one biker named Jake wasn't happy about being arrested. He was the group's leader and had always gotten away with things before. He didn't understand why the police were involved this time. Jake thought about fighting the charges, but realized it wouldn't work. He had been caught clearly, and there was no excuse. While sitting in his jail cell, he started thinking about getting back at the officer who arrested him. He couldn't do it himself, but he had friends outside who owed him favors. He just had to wait for the right time. Until then, he would sit and plan. Meanwhile, the woman the police had helped was packing her things. Her name was Sarah. She was a strong and independent woman who didn't get scared easily. She had been camping alone and hadn't expected trouble, but the bikers frightened her. She thanked the police officer and promised to be more careful in the future. As she drove away, She knew she would never forget what happened. Sarah had been camping for years and had never had a problem until now. She had heard stories about bikers bothering campers, but thought they were just rumors. She never thought it would happen to her. Now that it had, she planned to be more alert. She would never camp alone again, and she'd always be ready for anything. But the police officer had no idea that Sarah wasn't just a regular camper. She had a secret past. Sarah had once been an elite airborne ranger in the military. She had seen battle and had serious training. She left the military to live a quiet life, but she still had all her skill. When the bikers came near her tent, she was drinking coffee and reading a book. She heard them talking and coming closer. When they started banging on her tent, she knew she had to act. She grabbed her rifle, put on her boots, and stepped outside with her weapon ready. The bikers didn't expect to see a woman holding a rifle. They froze. Sarah knew she had the advantage. She told them to leave or she would shoot. The bikers didn't want to risk getting shot, so they left. All of this happened so fast that by the time the police showed up, they didn't see it. They only saw a woman with a rifle and some frightened bikers. After the officer left, Sarah put away her rifle and went back to her tent. She acted like a scared camper. She didn't want anyone to know who she really was. If the officer knew, he might have treated her differently. She didn't want to be seen as special, so she kept her secret. For the rest of her trip, Sarah enjoyed the quiet of the mountains. She spent her days hiking and fishing, and her nights around the campfire. She loved being away from the city and relaxing in nature. She never forgot what happened with the bikers. It reminded her how important it is to be prepared. But it also made her thankful for the peace and beauty of nature. As she packed up to leave, Sarah felt sad. She had fallen in love with the mountains and didn't want to go. But she knew she had to return to normal life and deal with everyday problems. As she drove away, she looked back at the mountains one last time. She had a great time and would always remember it. And the police officer who helped her, he might never know that he had actually saved the life of a trained soldier.